What's up, good people? Today I'm going to show you how I restored this old dresser that was actually my fiance's childhood dresser. Now it needs a lot of work. As you can see, it's missing a few bulbs and also the track is off-centered. So I'm going in with this 80 grit hand sander and it's by the brand Gator. Okay, and I know this is kind of like unintentional ASMR, and I really kind of enjoyed it, but as you can see, my arms are getting really tired, and I can't. At this point, I realize I cannot do this whole dresser with this hand sander. So the next day, I get this citrus stripping gel, and these two paintbrushes from Dollar Tree, and I just cover the whole entire dresser with it. And I also covered it with some cling wrap so that it would not dry out, and I let it sit for about 8 to 10 hours. Came back and started just scraping it with the paint scraper. Um, Now, I didn't record that part because it was extremely messy, but this was the final product. And I am not a professional at all. I've never done any type of wood project, so just learn from my mistakes. The first mistake is when you scrape, don't scrape in the opposite direction as the wood, as you see. Next mistake, don't chip away at it too hard, but if you do, it's okay. Just go in with that sander and buff it out like I'm doing here. Okay, now I'm done touching it up and everything as best as I could, and I'm gonna go ahead and start staining. As you can see, this side is really blotchy compared to the other side, which is more uniform, but I don't mind. I think it looks fine for what I'm trying to do. And then I'm gonna go ahead and wipe it down and wipe all the dust off with a microfiber cloth. Okay, now for the fun part, the actual staining. I brought one of these clear bins in to put the can of stain in because I did not want to have any accidents. And I'm using the Miniwax Wood Finish Penetrating Stain in Special Walnut. So I did not have one of those wooden sticks that you use to mix up the paint and the stain. So I just used a plastic knife that I just threw away after this. I'm also using an old sweater that I was going to throw away anyways because it had a stain on it. I couldn't get it out. what you do want to do is go in the direction of the grain, as you can see I'm doing here. Around the corners, I went vertically, and then on the actual front face, I went up and down. And I used this to compare. This is a piece of a bed that I was trying to get it to match to. It doesn't match exactly, but that's okay. And the directions on the stain does say to wipe it down after you stain. So that's what I did, even though nothing really seemed to come off. And here we have a comparison of one stained drawer and one unstained drawer. And fast forward to two stained drawers. And one thing I did want to note was please have an open window or a fan or some sort of ventilation when you're working with stain, or work on it outside. I made sure that I opened the drawers while I was staining them so that I can make sure that I get all of the corners. Okay, and now we're done staining, and I think it looks amazing and it matches the bed frame. After a few hours of letting the stain dry, I'm going to use the Miniwax polyacrylic protective finish, in crystal clear finish, and I'm going to use a different plastic knife to mix it up, and the same type of Dollar Tree paintbrush that I used for the citrus strip, I'm going to use to coat this dresser. Alright, so let's take a look at what it looked like before. It was a nice looking dresser, but just really basic. Now I went ahead and I added some hardware that I bought from Etsy, and I think it just pulls together the rustic vibe that I was going for, and I'm just so proud of myself. I think it looks amazing. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.